Alright, what you see here is a Hampton Bay Maplewood ceiling fan. It's in the stained maple finish with cobblestone accents, as you can see. The cobblestone is a very unique finish of something I've never seen before on other fans. And it uses actual wood blades, not MDF. But man, I've always found this to be an interesting fan, especially as a kid. It has this orange-looking shade. I would have put clear LEDs in it, but I might have them at the storage unit. I figured we just put these in it since I already had it up. Since I'm trying to get a lot of stuff tested while I have the free time. But it's a very rustic looking fan, and it's also a fan I can see like in a Latin American environment in a sense, like a Mexican restaurant or something. Like it has a rustic look, but also has a very tropical look, I think, as well. Just because of the coloration that it has. A lot of like older, like a lot of like Latin American homes, especially older styled ones, would have like bright orange looking stones and such, like for the walls, tiles and such. So I figured this would like really fit in with a setting like that. But yeah, this fan I got brand new in a box off of eBay, and I didn't pay too much for it, so I figured why not get it. And also, it's a fan I've been wanting to get for a long time and such, just because you don't see these that often. They're not rare fans, but they definitely aren't the most common Hampton Bay fans from the early 2000s and such. But yeah, especially getting one new in a box, I figured definitely take that option. But yeah, the box really doesn't do it justice in showing how unique the finish is. It's usually the case with a lot of fans with a unique finish, especially the fans that had these weird, unusual 90 finishes and such. Which is probably the reason, basically the reason why the 90s is my favorite in terms of fans being made and such, just because a lot of them had very unique finishes that you didn't see outside of that era. But, yeah. There's the Hampton Bay logo. But me, as a kid, I never realized that the motor housing was wood until like later on. I thought it was a metal look to it. I remember as a kid on the display, the Littleton that's at my local Home Depot, the air-cooled one from the 90s. I remember in 2002, they relocated all the fans before they set it up how it is now. Before they would relocate basically every single fan except for like a few of them. This one they relocated down to the bottom portion of the display, and Littleton was kind of colliding with it. I think about, it was like colliding like where the down rod is and such, and it was kind of making his fan bent sideways a little bit. That's one of the biggest memories I have of seeing this on display as a kid. But yeah, it's definitely a very unique fan from Hampton Bay. It is a knockoff of some Monte Carlo fan. I forget which one it is, but the Monte Carlo one didn't come with a light kit like this. But I really do like how the shade really complements the fan itself, and not just some plain looking shade. It definitely goes with the fan. And I did shorten both of the pull chains. It would have been a lot longer had I used the extensions that came with it, but I figured this, especially for the video, I didn't want them hanging too low, so I figured I'd just use them like this. The fan is from 1998 or 1999, I forget. Can check up here. I'll put it in the description below, but I just don't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah. Here's the light on. Yeah, it's definitely a really, really nice looking fan. It's definitely a fan that would look really nice like in a Halloween store of some sort. That's because of the finish of the orange will give us like a very fall time feeling to it. Yeah, it definitely gives off some pretty good lighting. Let me show off the lights near me. I can give it an accurate lighting test. Now, despite having a pretty dark lampshade for the most part, with it being more on the orange side, not clear and such, it still gives off pretty good lighting. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and shut off the light and start the fan off on low. Now, this fan was sold from, I think, 1998 and 1999 until 2004. That was the last year they sold these, and then they were discontinued afterwards. Now, this fan, I'm not sure if it really sold all too well or not, because you don't really see them that often compared to other Hampton Bay fans. Maybe just in my area, they didn't, like up north, they didn't sell too well, because it does have more of a southern look to it, rustic, like a rustic look or a western look in a sense. But yeah, I've always found this to be a very unique looking fan, especially as a kid. And when I saw it in the catalog, I really thought it was a really cool looking fan. And seeing it in person after all these years, definitely still feel the same way. Moves decent there on a low speed. I mean, the fan isn't the best made fan, but I mean, for a Hampton Bay fan, it is pretty decently made, especially considering that it has actual wood parts and not particle board and such. I mean, it's a wood housing fan, so it's kind of hard to do that, but at least the blades are also wood as well, not just MDF and such. So it does have a little bit better build to it in terms of parts. The metal parts are not the worst quality that I've seen from Hampton Bay, but it's definitely not like the highest quality. I mean, I don't think this is made by Airco. It might be a King of Fans fan or something like that, or Power Max. I don't know. I don't think it was Power Max, but yeah. Whoever wants to figure it out, you can definitely watch the unboxing video I did of it, where I showed the Yo listing up close. That way you can figure it out. I would have a feeling like Sean might do it, knowing him. But yeah, it has that like really unique 90s, early 2000s vibe from it that I really like. I remember back in around like 2004, 2005ish, they had a few Hampton Bay special order fans that had like unique orange or reddish shades like this that I always made me think about this fan after it was discontinued. Yeah, they had like a few orange looking ceiling fans on the special order catalog. I'd always thought was really unique. But yeah, like before I would have had this flush mounted down here in the basement, but since I am not leaving the fans up the whole time when I test them, like after I test it, I just like try to do all the takes, like commentary, no commentary, and iMovie all at once, and then just take it down. If I need to do it with a different blade finish and I don't have the time to do it, I just try to do it the next day or something whenever I have time. Sorry about that, the phone just stopped recording. Yeah, my phone's been doing that quite a bit. You guys might have noticed by now, but definitely gonna have to look into getting a new phone and such. But yeah, let me go ahead and move it up to medium. definitely curious to see how long it takes for it to spin down as well, considering that it's brand new out of the box and never ran before. Sometimes with fans being brand new out of the box, I notice that they have a pretty decent spin down to them, or sometimes they stop very quickly. I've noticed with some Hampton Bay fans that gotten new out of the box and such, that they tend to have a longer spin down, whereas some of the Hunter fans I've tested brand new out of the box, spin down can be a bit quicker. And the same thing with Casablanca fans. Sometimes they'll have a faster spin down, sometimes it won't. Like the Panama 2 in my bedroom, for example, that has a pretty, not a very quick spin down. It's gotten a little bit longer since I've been using it for the past 2 years. Quite a bit, but still it's not nearly as long as like some of the other fans that I have. But one thing I definitely gotta say is this: the fan is quiet. At least it's not noisy. But yeah, something I figured I'd mention though is I do like how back then a lot of Hampton Bay fans had that little bell canopy that you can put on the bottom of the down rod. That way it covers up like the pins and all that. Not all of them did, but quite a few of them did. Like the Camerons, the Reddingtons. I don't think the Huntingtons didn't, but there was quite a few of them. I know that. I always found it kind of interesting how some of them had it, some of them didn't. Yeah, even on medium, we feel a decent breeze right underneath it. And from over here as well. Plus, I do feel like this could actually be a pretty cool fantasy in a church install, in all honesty. Obviously, I'd put something better, but I mean, appearance-wise, I think it would actually look kind of cool. You know, one of the blades, the screws didn't want to tighten all the way, so that is why it kind of has a tiny bit of a wobble to it. Plus, I was using a shorter screwdriver, not a longer one, so it's kind of harder to tighten them all completely. As usual, what I could find just to tighten it for the video. So if I tighten them all the way, it probably won't even be wobbling at all. But I'd rather not waste the time I have testing it just to tighten it 100%. Just so, because I'd rather get it tested and put it back in its box and such. Since I've usually been testing everything right after I get out of work, so like 9 o'clock to 10 to like 11 o'clock-ish. Sometimes I'll be testing stuff. And sometimes I'm a bit tired, I just try to get it up, test it, and get it out of the way. Because it's not as noisy outside at night compared to the daytime. Alright, now for the high speed. Something I kind of wish that they did with this fan is that with the fan poles that they actually, like, if they made them in a cobblestone finish, not like the dark brass that it has and such. Still goes with it nicely, but I figured there would be a nicer touch to it. And that's a decent little wobble to it, nothing major though. But yeah, it definitely is moving some decent air to it. It's not the most powerful fan I've tested, without a question, but I mean, it's not bad. But it's not like amazing at the same time. It's definitely a decent performer though. And it's not extremely fast, but at the same time, this fan is brand new out of the box, so it definitely could be that the bearings need to break in as well. At the same time, not all Hampton Bay fans go really fast. There are some that go pretty fast, and there's some that have a normal-ish high speed like this. I actually didn't even open up the motor housing just to see how big the motor was, so might not have the largest motor in it either. It might be a 153 motor instead of like a 172. So that could also be another reason why. But it's not like a typical sluggish fan on high speed like nowadays and such. I mean, it's a 20-year-old fan, so there's that as well. But I do like that it's not extremely fast, but still pushing a refreshing breeze at the same time. But yeah, it's definitely a really appealing fan, especially with the light on. But even with the light off, it actually looks really nice as well. But yeah, obviously, as you can see, I did not cut the wiring on it just because I'd rather leave it at the way that it's at. Especially since it's new in the box, I kind of like to leave the wiring alone unless I need to trim it down a bit, just use it for an extension for other fans to test. Which I might cut off some of the black wiring to it to use that for like when I test fans with controls down here with like solid states or IntelliTouches and such. As I do know how to hook them up now, I just need to get some wiring for it and such. But also I just gotta figure out where I'm gonna like really put the controls and such. But I'll figure out something. I mean, yeah, it definitely is pushing actually a pretty decent breeze. Definitely is one of the better air movers from Hampton Bay back in the day. I don't remember this time period, they actually did have some pretty decent air movers and such. But luckily it's not one of the weaker ones. Like the Huntingtons. I mean, the Huntingtons move decent air, but this definitely moves quite a bit more than that. I don't remember how much these went for, but it might be that you don't see these too often because they were a bit pricey. I'm not 100% sure on that, but something I've noticed is with fans and such, usually if they were more pricey, sometimes you don't see them as often because people can't afford to buy them as much. Kind of like with the Casablanca Venus, for example, that was like $1,000 fan back when they were being sold, so that is kind of why that you don't see them as often. Probably was like $100-ish fan, maybe $125 or something. Not too sure, but there's some fans that actually do remember the price of it, and there's some that I don't. This is definitely one of them that I don't remember. I know like the Chatham was like $75 and such. The Reddington was like a good 140 or like 160-ish. Same thing with the Windward too. That was like a $170 fan. The Littletons, I remember them being $20, and then they were going up. The Written 2 was like $25 and such. The Industrials, I remember those being like $70 originally. Now they're like up to $100 at my local Home Depot. Not as good, not good of a price like they used to be, but I mean they are still decent for that price. And they are still more of an affordable industrial at least. But speaking of which, that's definitely another one I need to get tested down here. Is the SMC version of the Hampton Bay Industrial. And since it's a ball and socket, that would definitely be an easier one to hang up here. Since I still don't have like a hook thingy to attach and hang fans on like on a J hook and such. But yeah, there's definitely a fan I can like see in like many restaurants and such, without a question. I can actually now what I'm thinking of is that I could actually even see this like at a like candy, not a candy shop, a candle shop, like a Yankee Candle back in the day, or something. Yeah, let's go ahead and show it on me first. Something I do like is that the screws on it are black and not just brass. I'm not sure why, but I feel like the brass kind of can look ugly over time, whereas the black just stays like that. And it's funny because the motor housing, now that I look at it, it kind of reminds me of like some of those like Kmart looking fans and such that had similar looking motor housings and such. Not for medium. Yeah, I know fan collector Brandon Roll. I think that's how you pronounce it last name. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know he has one of these that I think it was in his grandparents' house. Then they moved out of that house, and then he found one for sale like on Marketplace, and it turned out to be from the exact one from his grandparents' old house. So I always thought that was a very cool way of reuniting with a childhood fan. So yeah, Brandon, if you're watching this, the videos I'm doing of this are dedicated for you. Since I know you like, these are big childhood fans for you and such. Yeah, he has it like in his old sister's bedroom. Now it's like a office area, which I think it's actually a nice fan for an office too. Especially if you have like one of those mission style lamps, the really dark looking ones. Like with the reddish shade to them and such. I feel like this would definitely look really nice. Kind of like that one I found at Savers one time that I did a quick video of, I think, where it was like a really dark reddish brown. But, yeah. So yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.